This conference will now be recorded.
आरोग्यं धनसम्पदा शत्रुबुद्धिर्विनाशाय दीपज्योतिः नमोस्तुते दीपज्योतिः परब्रह्मा दीपज्योतिः जनार्दन दीपो हरतु मे पापम् दीपज्योतिः नमोस्तुते शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति
मैम आपका अनम्यूट है मैम, म्यूट है आपका।
Sorry. Thank you, Chandra, and thank you, Dr. Sundar Srivastava, for this beautiful video. The COVID-19 pandemic, a stern and sensitive public health emergency, has brought almost all the countries around the globe to their knees. India too, amidst stretching lockdown followed by a step-by-step unlock in some areas, has been brutally hit in almost all walks of life, namely health, social, financial, educational, environmental, science and technology, etc., etc. The need to keep the life going has led people to accept to live with COVID and take prophylactic measures such as social distancing, sanitization, and the use of masks, etc. And at the same time, all governments and other organizations, non-governmental, private, they all have started exploring the effects and consequences of the pandemic on all walks of life all over the world. This webinar is also an exercise in the same direction. To discuss over the implications of COVID on the use of technology and finance sector, we have a learned panel of two speakers, namely Mrs. Anshika Kaushik from UK, and Professor Dr. Harsh Purohit from Vanasthali Vidyapeeth, Rajasthan. And it is my proud privilege to welcome both of you on behalf of RCA College. Ma'am Anshika Kaushik is a marketing professional from UK, presently working as a data scientist in the Consumer Safety Department of British American Tobacco Global Research and Development Center, Southampton, UK. Ma'am, I'm extremely delighted to welcome you today on this platform. Our second speaker, who is going to join us in a few minutes from now, Professor Dr. Harsh Purohit, Dean FMS, Wisdom and Faculty of Law at Banasthali Vidyapeeth, Rajasthan, is an eminent professor having a long experience of about 20 years in teaching and research and has about 80 publications to his credit. His research areas are personal finance and Indian ethos in management. Presently, he is heading the National Center for Corporate Affairs set by Ministry of Corporate Affairs in the university and is also on board of directors of 2 companies. Sir, I greatly feel honored to welcome you on this platform on behalf of RCA College. I am also delighted to welcome our other guests, teachers, research scholars, students, and journalists, with a hope that the discussion on this platform will throw a new light on the issue and will result in some fruitful conclusions. I now invite the coordinator of the seminar, Dr. Seema Sharma, to introduce the theme of the seminar. Dr. Seema Sharma.
Thank you, madam. Am I audible?
Right, you are audible.
Thank you. इस वर्चुअल प्लेटफॉर्म पर देश विदेश से जुड़े सभी विद्वज्जनों को मेरा प्रणाम। आदरणीय मुख्य वक्ता, प्रबंध समिति के समस्त सदस्यगण, प्राचार्य जी, मेरे सहयोगी साथीगण, वेबिनार से जुड़े समस्त प्रबुद्ध जन, मीडिया कर्मी और प्यारे बच्चों, जैसा कि आप सभी को विदित है। जी मैम।
अपना कैमरा शेयर किया हुआ है? ठीक है
जी मैम।
ओके ओके, थैंक यू।
जैसा कि आप सभी को विदित है, गत 6 माह से संपूर्ण विश्व ऐसे ज्ञात किंतु अदृश्य शत्रु से जूझ रहा है जिसका आगामी 1-2 साल तक कोई निदान संभव नहीं है। इसका संक्रमण अधिक ना फैले और समस्त जन इसके साथ रहने को अभ्यस्त हो जाएं। इस उद्देश्य से लगभग सभी देशों में लंबे समय तक लॉकडाउन रखा गया। इसका परिणाम हुआ कि जीवन ठहर सा गया, अर्थव्यवस्था ठप हो गई। विकास को गति देना आवश्यक है, अतः समस्त आर्थिक और अनार्थिक गतिविधियों को प्रारंभ की जाए, लेकिन कैसे? तो इसका जवाब है तकनीक के सहयोग के द्वारा, विद द हेल्प ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी। और आज हम इस तकनीक के माध्यम से ही विभिन्न स्थानों पर होते हुए भी सभी एक साथ एक समय में इस आभासी सभागार से जुड़े हुए हैं। कोविड-19 की वजह से देश ही नहीं, संपूर्ण विश्व की अर्थव्यवस्था चरमरा गई है, मंदी की समस्या आ गई है। तो आने वाले समय में तकनीक को प्रयोग करते हुए कैसे हमारी अर्थव्यवस्था को पटरी पर लाएंगे, इसी उद्देश्य से आज इस महत्वपूर्ण विषय पर अंतर्राष्ट्रीय वेबिनार का आयोजन किया गया है, जिसका विषय है टेक्नोलॉजिकल एंड फाइनेंशियल इम्प्लीकेशंस ऑफ कोविड-19। मुझे विश्वास है विद्वान वक्ताओं के उद्बोधन से आप सभी लाभान्वित होंगे। उद्देश्य में सफल होगा। अतः बिना समय गवाए मैं आगे के कार्यक्रम के लिए मंच प्राचार्य जी को सौंपती हूँ और अपनी वाणी को विराम देती हूँ। धन्यवाद। ओवर टू मैडम।
धन्यवाद सीमा जी। और अब मैं हमारे बीच उपस्थित मैडम अंशिका कौशिक जी को आमंत्रित करती हूँ कि वो अपने विचारों से संगोष्ठी के सभी जो ऑडियंस है, जो हमारे श्रोता हैं, उनको अवगत कराएं। मैडम अंशिका कौशिक।
Thank you, madam. Thank you for a wonderful introduction. मैं मेरी अभी स्लाइड शेयर कर रही हूँ। प्लीज टेल मी अगर आपको मेरी स्क्रीन दिख रही तो।
जी हाँ, दिख रही है।
So I request कि बाकी सब अपने स्पीकर्स म्यूट कर लें। Thank you. I would like to start this presentation first of all by thanking Dr. Preeti Madam and Dr. Seema ma'am for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts and experiences of using technology personally and in my work environment. So thank you, madam, for this opportunity. I think ये बहुत ही अच्छा initiative है जो RCA college.
Excuse me, ma'am. There is a slight
Yes,
disturbance
ma'am.
in the audio.
Is there a slight disturbance in the background?
Yeah.
Is this better, madam?
Yeah. Now it's better.
Okay, thank you. So, can we please mute other members,
और
please?
सभी लोग अपने माइक म्यूट कर दें, please.
Thank you. तो जैसे कि मैं कह रही थी कि ये बहुत ही अच्छा इनिशिएटिव किया है कॉलेज ने to continue sharing sessions like these during these difficult times and inviting guest speakers to share their experiences and thoughts. So I wish मैं आप सबको personally देख पाती, but I think thanks to technology आज हम ये session कर पा रहे हैं. So आज के session में मैं ये share करूंगी कि टेक्नोलॉजी का बिजनेस और पर्सनल लाइफ में कैसा इम्पैक्ट हुआ है और इसको हम कैसे यूज कर रहे हैं. तो a little background about me. Like Preeti madam said, I'm a marketing professional. Currently मैं British American Tobacco में काम कर रही हूँ as a data scientist. Originally मैं बैंगलोर से हूँ और currently मैं Southampton में रह रही हूँ, which is in UK. तो जिस कंपनी में मैं काम करती हूँ ये एक मल्टीनेशनल कंपनी है which has presence all over the world और यहाँ पे रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट सेंटर में मैं काम करती हूँ जहाँ पे हम नए प्रोडक्ट नए टेक्नोलॉजीज पे डेवलप करते हैं और एक रिसेंटली बहुत प्रॉमिसिंग न्यूज़ ये है कि बीएटी जो यूएस अमेरिका में है वहाँ का सेंटर कोरोना वायरस की वैक्सीन डेवलप कर रहा है एंड आई थिंक दिस इज अ फैंटास्टिक एग्जांपल ऑफ यूजिंग टेक्नोलॉजी एंड इसके बारे में हम आगे और बात करेंगे. तो दिस इज अ स्मॉल इंट्रोडक्शन अबाउट मी और आज की प्रेजेंटेशन में हम एक ब्रीफ एजेंडा ये है कि इंट्रोडक्शन में हम ये देखेंगे कि टेक्नोलॉजी क्या है, बिजनेस सेक्टर्स क्या है और कौन से बिजनेस सेक्टर्स सबसे ज्यादा इम्पैक्ट में है कोरोना वायरस की वजह से और टेक्नोलॉजी की यूज एंड इफेक्ट्स क्या है पर्सनली, उसके कोई पॉजिटिव एंड नेगेटिव इफेक्ट्स भी हम देखेंगे. मैं एक बिजनेस एग्जांपल भी शेयर करूंगी फ्रॉम द वर्क प्लेस वेयर आई वर्क और गिवन द सिचुएशन फ्यूचर इम्प्लीकेशंस क्या होंगी और इन फ्यूचर what can we expect after the lockdown is completed, after we all are up. Sorry ma'am.
ये अभी भी बहुत सारे लोगों के कमेंट आ रहे हैं, वॉइस क्लियर नहीं आ रही है आपकी.
Ma'am, I will try to use headsets. Please tell me if it is better with headsets. I'm sorry. I think static noise आ रही है कहीं से. Is this better, ma'am? Can you hear me better?
बेटर, बट ये कुछ किसी के या तो माइक खुले हुए हैं लोगों के.
Please can I
आप सबके
request
माइक म्यूट कर दीजिए और फिर मैम अपना अनम्यूट कर लेंगे. पवन एक बार सबके माइक म्यूट कर.
Please tell me अगर अब आवाज ठीक आ रही है. I hope it is better now. I think.
नहीं, अभी भी ठीक नहीं आ रही है.
मैम अब ठीक है. I think it should be better. Hello.
कोई एक बीप साउंड आ रही है बीच में.
This is, I think, अब static आवाज नहीं आनी चाहिए because it is not from my side. I think अब ठीक है. Please let me know अगर अभी भी ये प्रॉब्लम हो रही हो तो.
अब आपकी आवाज आ रही है मैम, आप बोलिए अब.
Okay, thank you.
Now it's okay. Yes.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. जी, तो like I was saying, this is a brief agenda of what we will discuss today. So to quickly move on to what is technology. तो technology क्या है? I'm sure आप सब इसके बारे में briefly जानते हैं, but to quickly review it, technology is use of scientific knowledge.
सॉरी टू इंटरप्ट यू मैडम, आप थोड़ा सा
Sorry?
आगे होके शायद बोले हैं. हाँ, आप थोड़ा सा पीछे होती है तभी आवाज फिर से डिस्टर्ब हो जाती है.
Okay, I hope it is better now. Right. So, like I was saying, technology is the use of scientific knowledge for practical purpose or applications. Whether this is used in our everyday lives or in the industry. So, technology is more of application-based of the scientific learnings that we do. तो जो भी आप अभी अपनी साइंसेस में स्टडी कर रहे हैं, this is applied into technology, जो हमारी everyday lives में काम आती है, जो इंडस्ट्री में काम आती है. तो this is a brief introduction of technology. तो ये कहाँ यूज होती है? ये mainly 7 sectors में यूज होती हैं. And they can be looked at by, it is used in agriculture, biotechnology, energy and power technology में भी यूज होती है. ये construction technology भी काफी में भी यूज होती है. Manufacturing is another sector. Transportation, medical and information and communication technology. तो ये जो 2 sectors हैं, ये आज की present scenario में बहुत critical है. जो आपकी IT sector और जो medical technology sector है, they are playing a very big role during the coronavirus situation. IT sector mainly because ये हम सबको connect करके रखा हुआ है. जो internet services हम use कर रहे हैं, जो जिसके through information sharing हो रही है. So this is a very important sector currently. Medical technology because we are all searching for a vaccine, a medicine for coronavirus. So this sector में भी काफी importance देखी जा रही है. और these are the key sectors of technology. So currently, even now, presently, हम सब technology use कर रहे हैं. And I think consciously or unconsciously, we are all dependent on technology. And इसके बारे में हम ज़्यादा सोचते नहीं हैं. But if we think about it, even right now, we are using several different forms of technology, such as video call that we're doing right now. तो ये भी एक technology का form है. जो gadgets हम use कर रहे हैं इस video call के लिए, your laptop, your phones, even mouse and headsets, all of it is all part of technology. Power sector से हम energy use कर रहे हैं, and we're using so many different apps to connect with each other. So consciously or unconsciously, we are all quite dependent on technology. I hope no one is using Facebook and Instagram right now, but that is another very important area where we use technology in our everyday lives to stay connected. Let's look at some of the business sectors before we look at the impact of technology on business. So I'm sure आप सबने ये पढ़ा हुआ है कि business के sectors क्या होते हैं. तो just to quickly look at it, primary sector होता है जो आपका agricultural sector एक example है. So this is basically a sector where जहाँ से आपकी raw material आती है. Secondary sector is जहाँ पे raw material use होके उसको और develop किया जाता है. तो example is your manufacturing sector. तो जो factories जो different factories हैं वो सारी इसके अंदर आती है. Tertiary sector है आपकी service sector, which are your hotels, your services. तो ये सारे इस sector को belong करते हैं. Quaternary sector is intellectuals, where a good example is the government. Your scientists, teachers, ये सारे quaternary sectors में आते हैं. तो among these sectors, which sectors have been seriously impacted by coronavirus? These are primary sector, secondary sector, and tertiary sectors. So coronavirus का impact ऐसा ये रहा है कि आपकी movement of goods affect हुई है, जिसकी वजह से आपके raw materials manufacturing sectors, manufacturing facilities तक पहुंच नहीं पा रहे. Raw materials acquire करना मुश्किल हो जा रहा है क्योंकि laborers and employees कोरोना वायरस से affect हुए हैं और इसकी वजह से businesses को काफी नुकसान पहुंचा है, जिसकी वजह से costs बढ़ गई हैं और businesses को alternate solutions ढूंढने पड़ रहे हैं, तो उनकी costs और भी ज़्यादा बढ़ रही है, so they have to invest in maintaining infra, employees के लिए आपको laptops खरीदने पड़ रहे हैं, gadgets खरीदने पड़ रहे हैं ताकि काम continue हो सके. Of course, government regulations दिन प्रतिदिन change होते जा रहे हैं. No one has experienced something like this before. So हम सब सीख रहे हैं कि इस difficult time से कैसे हम बाहर निकलें. तो government guidelines, government regulations बहुत ही important है during these difficult times. So these are the key impacts that coronavirus has had on businesses. And इस सब के बीच में technology का क्या use हुआ है? So some of the things that we have looked at, which are very key, is IT sector has gained a big popularity, a big importance during the coronavirus times. And some of the points that come out of it is internet use has increased tremendously. तो हम सब इंटरनेट यूज कर रहे हैं to stay connected, to share information. So मैं पढ़ रही थी
also what they have not been taught in our country is to predict the future. You know, there are groups in the US and other places wherein people their only job is to predict the future. Their only job is to design the future based on the current how the future should look like.
Yes, I'm sorry, I couldn't catch that comment. Could you please repeat this again? Or we can take questions in the end, if that is okay. Okay, thank you.
I think that will be better, ma'am. We will be taking questions in the end.
Ji, thank you, ma'am. So, like I was saying, technology used during COVID-19. So, one other thing that we have noticed is infrastructure, IT infrastructure में investments काफी बढ़ गए हैं. तो जो आपकी internet companies और government support जो है to meet the demand of internet use. They are trying their best to make this possible for everyone so that they can use internet seamlessly. So इसकी वजह से हम काफी investments देख रहे हैं in these by these companies. So and we are also surprisingly seeing increase in sales of gadgets. Of course, अगर internet use करना है तो we have to use through a medium, and it is a very I think an underlying statement. हम इस पे ज़्यादा ध्यान नहीं देते, but it is happening. Sales of gadgets are increasing. So these are some of the key points. Sorry. Okay, so these are some of the key points that I noticed of how technology is being used in Corona during these difficult times. Sorry, I think किसी का mic on रह चुका है. Right. Okay. Thank you. So, टेक्नोलॉजी के इफेक्ट्स क्या रहे हैं? ऑफ कोर्स हम इतना टेक्नोलॉजी को इतना यूज कर रहे हैं तो इसके कुछ पॉजिटिव और नेगेटिव इफेक्ट्स हम अब देखेंगे. तो कुछ पॉजिटिव इफेक्ट्स जो मैंने नोटिस किए हैं, ऑफ कोर्स टेक्नोलॉजी ने कम्युनिकेशन बहुत इजी कर दिया है. हम आपस में इजीली बात कर पा रहे हैं by using technology. We are able to share information so easily right now. I'm able to present my thoughts and my experiences to you because of the help of technology. And one of the biggest points for a business is it has helped maintain business activities. And we will look at it in detail in a little while, but technology has had a very important impact on businesses. It has helped continue business activities as normal as possible. And I think one of the other points I think we are forgetting to include is हम सबकी technical skills improve हो रही है. I think it goes unsaid that हम इस पे इतना ध्यान नहीं देते, but we're all using technology and quietly हमारी technical skills भी improve हो रही हैं. So मेरी दादी जी का computer phone use कर पा रही हैं. So it is quite amazing how technology teaches you how to use things in your everyday lives. I'm able to make calls from UK to India because of technology, and I never expected कि मेरे घर पे सब use करना शुरू कर देंगे. But given the difficult times, I think we're all getting better at our technical skills. कुछ negative impacts भी होते हैं, as it is for everything. हर चीज की positive negative impacts होते हैं, और technology के कुछ negative impacts मैंने ये notice किए हैं कि because हम information share कर रहे हैं, तो क्या हम safe platforms के through share कर रहे हैं, इसकी assurity नहीं हो पाती, और इसके बारे में हम इतना जानते भी नहीं है कि क्या ये वेबसाइट सेफ है. यहाँ पे कैन आई शेयर माय पर्सनल डिटेल्स, कैन आई शेयर माय बैंक डिटेल्स. तो ये सारी इन सब एरियाज पे थोड़ा हमें ध्यान भी देना चाहिए, और ये नेगेटिव इफेक्ट भी हो जाता है कि कई लोग इसका ध्यान नहीं देते और अपनी इंफॉर्मेशन शेयर कर लेते हैं, जिसका फिर कुछ लोग बुरा यूज भी करते हैं. So we should all be very careful about sharing our information on social platforms. And the other effect, I think, social skills, physical and mental health, these three areas are very closely related. Because we are spending so much time on internet, हम एक दूसरे से बात नहीं कर पाते personally. Of course, Corona has restricted meeting each other personally as well. But so I think इसकी वजह से social skills हमारी थोड़ी lack हो रही है. इसके काफी physical और mental effects भी हो रहे हैं because you are using a gadget all the time. इसकी वजह से आपका दिमाग थोड़ा lethargic हो जाता है. थोड़ा I don't want to use the word lazy, but because you're using because आप बैठे सारा काम कर रहे हो, तो थोड़ा आपमें ऐसी low feeling आ जाती है. And I think in जो आपका inaugural session था जो श्रीवास्तव सर ने present किया था, उसमें उन्होंने mental health के बारे में काफी बहुत ही अच्छे तरीके से ideas दिए थे कि आप एक ideal routine को कैसे follow कर सकें. So I think it is very important that we follow a healthy routine during the lockdown period. So these are some of the negative effects that I have noticed during of using technology during Corona times. और अब हम देखेंगे an example of where I work, जो जिस कंपनी में मैं काम करती हूँ वहाँ पे टेक्नोलॉजी कैसे यूज की गई है. तो firstly, BAT has been very proactive, बहुत ही इन्होंने शुरुआत से इस IT डिपार्टमेंट को बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंस दी है कि and this IT department has played a very important role in making sure हमारी business as usual activities पे effect नहीं हो. So उन्होंने they have made sure कि हमारा जो work from home setup है उसको वो सही तरीके से setup है कि नहीं इसका उन्होंने बहुत ही closely ध्यान रखा है. जो भी हमें नए सिस्टम्स और सॉफ्टवेयर अपडेट करने हैं इसका भी उन्होंने बहुत ही क्लोजली ध्यान रखा है. They have ensured that we have the right systems and softwares by doing weekly meetings. तो हर हफ्ते हमारी meetings होती हैं with the IT department to make sure that we have the right software and if we are having any problems connecting.
Excuse me, ma'am. स्क्रीन दोबारा शेयर कीजिए. स्क्रीन गए हैं.
जी मैम, एक मिनट. I think organizer ने जी, thank you. Can you see my screen, everyone?
Yeah, now it is visible.
Thank you. So yes, can we please all mute? Thank you. So yes, like I was saying, I was sharing an example of BAT and how IT department has played a very important role in ensuring that we are able to continue business activities. So so yes, like I was saying, we have weekly meetings with the IT department to make sure there is no problem. There are no problems in using the softwares and the systems. So and one very important point is the team is very good in thinking fast and making decisions and reacting to our problems. So even now, for example, यहाँ पे भी हमारा IT setup है. Sir has helped me. हमारा कल एक trial session हुआ था to make sure everything is perfect. So initiatives like this ensure that we are using technology properly. Sorry, I think किसी का mic on रह गया. Thank you. So yes, so role of an IT department has been very crucial in our company, and but at the same time, कुछ challenges we notice, कुछ challenges भी हुए हैं to execute this, to apply this, because this is such a big company. इस company में over 55,000 लोग काम करते हैं around the world. So it's to make sure सबके पास में same system, same software available है. ये काफी difficult रहा IT department के लिए. और different geographies, different countries में same IT infra नहीं है. ये भी एक बहुत बड़ा challenge रहा है to ensure standard services across the company. तो और दूसरा एक challenge ये भी रहा कि because we're using technology, because this is such a difficult time, company had to make sure about the well-being of the employees, and इसके लिए हम we do catch-up meetings with each other. After work हम एक छोटी सी वीडियो कॉल कर लेते हैं. हम चाय नाश्ता टाइप मीटिंग करते हैं एक दूसरे के साथ, ताकि काम तो है ही, but at the same time work-life balance हो सके तो they try to make sure about the well-being of the employees. So the other challenge that they notice that they're experiencing is the constant changing government guidelines during the coronavirus times. So because this is such an unforeseen time, government guidelines are changing every day. हर हफ्ते कोई नई गाइडलाइन आती है कि लॉकडाउन खुला है, कितना खुला है, can you start going into work to continue business activities. ये सारे unforeseen areas हैं और they are turning to be a little challenging, but I think keeping a close watch on um, keeping a close follow up on what the guidelines are can help overcome this challenge. और इसके लिए भी कंपनी में अलग से एक टीम असाइन की गई है जो जो इस चीज जो गवर्नमेंट गाइडलाइंस को क्लोजली फॉलो करते हैं to make sure that we are all following these guidelines. So these are some of the challenges that BAT has experienced. And how has this impacted our ways of working because of all of these changes? So one of the positive effect this has happened, that has happened is the business has become more agile. And इसका ये मतलब है कि business, because we're all working together और हम सब एक दूसरे को support करके काम कर रहे हैं, so we are acting fast. We have to act fast to make sure we are continuing our activities. To deal with the challenges, company ने internal talent को use किया है, external support नहीं लिया. So for example, मुझे नहीं पता था कि मैं टेक्नोलॉजी को इतना यूज कर सकती हूँ, but I'm part of the IT team to help execute these meetings. So they have used internal talent to make sure that business activities continue. और of course हम सब multitask कर रहे हैं. We are all supporting each other. We are multitasking. We are working from home. So you have to multitask to make sure you deliver everything on time. So so it is a different environment. हम में से किसी ने भी ऐसा experience पहले नहीं किया है. It is a different experience for all of us. And I think because we are supporting each other, because we are helping each other, we are doing well in continuing business activities. इसके कुछ future implications I think ये है कि technology dependency is an obvious result of of this period because we're using technology every day. I think this will become a part of life even more. It is already part of our lives as of today, but I think it will become we will all become even more heavily dependent on technology, which is a bad thing and a good thing, but we just have to be sure कि ये हमारे personal life में effect नहीं करे. तो इसका ध्यान हमें रखना चाहिए. और future implications में of course government guidelines is one of the key ones. कि कोरोना वायरस से कैसे हम back to normal हमारी life कैसे होगी, ये government guidelines के through dictate होगी. और we all have to keep a very close watch and follow these guidelines. And I think the other implication is हम सब ने एक learning सीख ली है कि globalization is a good thing, but at the same time we are heavily dependent on globalization. So we have not paid attention to local resources. So I think because of this time, because of the corona times, we have gone back to look at what are our local resources, how can we use it in a very good manner. So ये भी एक बहुत important point raha hai from Corona times. So maybe in future we will start using local resources more, and I hope we can work together and make sure that we're using technology in the best way. So this was these were my thoughts and a small um, presentation of technology and how we have used it in the Corona times in BAT and my personal experiences of using technology. So what I would like to take you through is a small video of how can we make sure we have a good balance of using technology and making sure that we have a healthy mind and a healthy lifestyle. So iske liye, I will just quickly open my video. So these are some of the tips of how do you make sure that we are working properly during the Corona times. One very important thing is we have to make sure we have a good routine. To do that, we should sleep. Waking up late will ruin your routine. So make sure that you start early, and this will stop you from having a feeling of a rushed day. Another thing that you can do is exercise, even if it is just for a small, for a short time. As soon as you wake up, do a small exercise. It can be in any form, running, jumping, anything. Make sure if you can include meditation, थोड़ा योग करें, अपने breathing exercises पे थोड़ा ध्यान दें. We have seen promising results of breathing exercises on corona virus as well. So do that. Get ready for your day. जो आप school या college के time पे जो आप routine रखते थे to get ready to go to school and college, make sure you keep that and get ready for the day. Put a plan together. आपको दिन में क्या अचीव करना है, क्या tasks करने हैं, कोई activities हैं, उसकी list बनाएं, so that you feel that you have achieved something during the day. And the list will also help you to stay focused. It will help you stay on track in completing that work. चाहे वो homework हो, चाहे वो classroom exercises हो. So that list will help you keep focused. Take breaks. We would have lunch break, tea breaks. जो breaks आपके normal routine में हुआ करते, make sure you're taking those breaks. Maybe you can stretch a little, take a little walk. And one good thing is keep meetings for the half end of the day. So probably this is a good example for the teachers, so that you can keep your meetings and other activities for the later end of the day. Keep a routine of finishing your work at a certain time. 5 बजे अगर काम खत्म करना है तो finish that work. उसके beyond काम मत करें. और take good rest. This is very, very important. Please don't overwork yourself. Read a book. Phone को दूर रखें during the time you want to take rest. And I think these are some of the tips that will help not just on your daily life, your personal life as well. But yeah, this is something that this video I think was really helpful when I looked at it, and I thought this would be nice to share with you all. Yeah, this brings me to the end of my presentation, and I'm ready to take any questions. अगर किसी के पास कोई feedback और है या कोई questions है, so please feel free to ask me.
आप लोगों में से जिनके भी कोई क्वेश्चंस हो चैट बॉक्स में डाल दीजिए. आई विल आस्क जस्ट टू फैसिलिटेट यू. आप लोग अपने क्वेश्चंस चैट बॉक्स में डाल दीजिए. Any questions? It was a very beautiful presentation, Anshika ma'am. Very beautifully explained, very nicely explained everything. And I think, yeah, there is a question from Dr. R. Ramachandran. What strategies for future?
Thank you, sir, for your question. I think the strategy for future, and I will talk about this from the business perspective, is we have to follow government guidelines, and when no one was prepared for coronavirus. It all happened very suddenly, and we were very proactive in responding to such a situation. So I think we have a fantastic pool of employees within the company who got together, who reacted very quickly to such a to this difficult time, and government guidelines were very key in ensuring we respond properly. And I think in future the strategy would be to closely follow what the government guidelines are, and take learnings from this time to make sure that in future, if we have such a situation again, we are well prepared to react to it in a more efficient manner. This goes without saying कि businesses को काफी loss हुआ है during these times. Like I said, no one was prepared for such an environment, and everyone has faced tremendous loss during Corona times. But at the same time, it has given us a lot of scope to learn what to expect and be prepared better for the future. I hope this answers your question, sir. Any other questions, ma'am?
Thank you, ma'am. We have another question from Dr. Smriti Sharma. What are the implications of COVID-19 on the unorganized sector?
Thank you, ma'am, for that question. And in my personal opinion, unorganized sector has had a because they're unorganized already. I think they took the major blow of coronavirus, and it is very sad to say that because they were the least prepared sector to expect such a thing. And what we notice is they're very small companies. For example, these are very small examples, like your restaurants, your your barber shops, your small businesses. They follow a very, like I said, very unorganized way of carrying out business activities. So they have had to take the biggest blow of such an unprecedented time. So I think government has set up very strong support to these sectors. For example, even in the UK, government has allotted a big, they have prepared a big plan to support such companies. So, and I think in future, the implication would be that they would have to adhere to maintaining the hygiene, maintaining the sanitary conditions to continue business. But I think the support from government is very key in helping these unorganized companies to get back to business. And yes, this is my view on your question, ma'am. I hope this answers your question.
Oh. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. And we have some very positive comments that this was an informative session. This was very good, very nicely presented. So thanks for the comments. And now I am moving ahead. Our second speaker, Dr. Professor Harsh Purohit, is also with us. As I have already told the audience that he has a long experience of 20 years in teaching and research, and he has also guided about 50 PhDs and received many awards for promoting women education. His research areas are personal finance and Indian ethos in management. Presently, he is heading the National Center for Corporate Affairs, set by Ministry of Corporate Affairs in the University of Banasthali University, Rajasthan, and he is also on the board of directors of 2 companies. So I welcome you, sir. I'm greatly honored to welcome you on this platform on behalf of RCA College. And now I invite you to present your deliberation. Thank you, sir. Dr. Harsh
Thank you very
Purohit.
much. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are completely audible, perfectly.
Oh, very nice, very nice. So, namaste, namaste to you, Professor Preeti Johri ji, Principal of RCA Girls College, Mathura. I'm indeed very delighted and feel honored that in this international webinar, you have invited me to share my thoughts. One of our bright alumni, Dr. Veermati ji, is with you, and she has been one of the bright students over here, and then she is there at Mathura, and she also persuaded me that I must join this webinar, and I'm so delighted that when I saw the list of people who are participating in this international webinar, and I found that there are about 50 people who are PhDs. So first of all, accept my best wishes and congratulations for the success of this webinar. So all credit to you, Professor Preeti Johri ji. And it was equal delight hearing to Mrs. Anshika Kaushik, and I think going by the chat box, you can make out that everyone who is a part of this webinar today is extremely delighted and has a lot of takeaways from the session that she has taken. So I would be talking about the financial implications of COVID 2019. Now, I trust everyone would agree that financial implications, the moment we talk about, it is something very broad in nature. And finance as such, we divide into 2 parts, uh, broadly, in a way, the personal finance and corporate finance. Then there can also be public finance, where we talk about the government finance. So I think given my specialization, which is personal finance, and everyone would like to know what should I do with my money. So I think if the little time that I have, I can talk about the personal finance, the implications. I was very happy then when one comment came in the previous presentation that in India, we don't talk about the future studies, that is, what's going to happen in the future. If you see on a holistic basis, I think there is a very strong reason that God has hidden the future from us. But at the same time, it should be the effort that for the benefit of the society, we should continue to find out what is in store in the future. So we should keep working on it. And particularly place like India, where we find that the astrology is so strong, has been over the years, but maybe we don't give that much emphasis now, although the time is changing. But we can, because For example, if I go to the astrology, then a very important event took place on the 18th of June, when one of the planets, Rahu, was captured by Mangal. And this position is likely to be there till around mid of August. So what it means is that going by this, we don't have a very worse time. I think we have seen the worst of the time. So, but then challenges do remain. They will be there. But I think if you talk about in the terms of personal finance, then this is the time when the commodity prices should do well. This is the time when the equity should do well. So while people might be talk about don't touch equity, my view is different. I say you can touch equity at least till mid of September. So this is more based on what the planets and the movements they say. So astrology has been a science and has been a very good tool of prediction. So these days we use the AI for the predictive analysis, predictive analytics as we call it. But I think, see, when Indian scientists approached Russia many years before, that we also want to learn how to go to moon and, please share the rocket technology with us. The Russian scientists said initially that, they said that in your ancient text, it is mentioned that you had some sages who had the power that the moment they used to close their eyes, wherever they wanted to go, whether to Mumbai or to the moon, they could go. So why don't you research on that? Because we are working on the physical science, and what you have is the spiritual science. Why don't you work on the spiritual science? But since you have come to us and we are friends, so we would help you. But you see the first reaction that came from the Russians. So that shows that, as we say in Hindi, Kasturi Kundal Base Mrag Dhunde Jagmahi. So in the terms of spirituality and the ideas, the philosophy, we are already number one. And we have the best of the culture in the world and all these ideas and everything. But if we don't apply, if we don't respect our culture, so the moment somebody says Indian Standard Time, IST, then we all laugh because it connotes that, okay, there is no value of time and you are late, then you use the word IST. But why? Why a kid is taught at the kindergarten, pussycat, pussycat, where have you been? I have been to London to see the Queen. So the message is that the Queen is in London. Now, that's not going to help. We need to have respect for our own culture and all. And every country grows because it respects its own culture. So I think that's the first thing. Second thing is the moment we talk about the financial implications, the idea of finance in our culture is holistic. It's beyond the understanding of the West, at least till now. So wealth, that is we call as dhan. I believe that when we talk about our country, then this wealth has three components. The first is vidya, knowledge. That's also a wealth. The second is mudradhan, which we know, the monetary wealth. So we talk about, okay, I invest 10 lakh rupees into stocks, how much it can be after a month. So that's so mudradhan. And the third is bhakti dhan, okay, the devotion that we do. So Devi Mirabai, she said, Payoji maine Ram Ratan dhan payo. So she didn't say Payoji maine Kohinoor hira payo. No, because she could make out after her own tapasya and spiritual pursuit, that the ultimate wealth is the one which you get from devotion to God. So what I mean to say is that the perspective which we have in India about finance is very wide. Normally we believe that the first idea in finance has come from the West. But if you dwell along and years and years and years before, you find a Sanskrit shlok, okay? And that Sanskrit shlok is idmev hi pandityam chatur idmev hi subuddhitam aya dalpatroge. And that means the wisdom lies in increasing your income and reducing your expenses. The first idea in finance has come from India. Now, having said this, I move to my PPT. So please allow me to share my PPT. I already see that I have been made the presenter. So I'm just sharing the screen now. One of my friends, Mr. Gautam Chikarmane, has some time back tweeted one article where a very famous finance journalist whom I respect a lot, Srimati Monica Halan, she tried to synchronize health, wealth, yoga, and finance. Although again, this word yoga, better word is yogasan, but anyway, yoga and finance. So there I tweeted that, our Shastra talk about Purusharth, Lok Sangrah, Shubh Labh that have potential to revisit personal finance, and slowly we will move towards Bharatiya model of financial literacy. So somebody asked before, what's going to be the future? I would say this is going to be one of the future. We are going to move towards the Bharatiya model of financial literacy, and so what it means, the finance, the money, so money will not be the only finance, so people will shortly realize that Vidya Dhan is important, Bhakti Dhan is also important. And that is what India is going to, make everyone in the world realize through, and we would be a superpower in the time to come. And already we can see a consciousness revolution is coming up. Just a moment. Okay, so I trust you are able to see the screen. Are you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. So I would try to focus on understanding the situation and tackling the challenges in the very different environment where we are. Now, this slide shows, what's the state for the common man, and on the other side, you'll find that one of the reputed international rating agencies has cut the sovereign rating of India. But having said this, I would say that even if our economy, GDP, contracts by 5-7%, we are still doing better than the rest of the world. So Moody's might have their own hidden agenda why they are trying to cut our rating. But I think this has been given a thumbs down by the investors, because after going down to the level of 27,000, the BSE Sensex has touched 34,000 already. In fact, some days before it was 36,000. So who cares about the rating cut? Then these are also some, very terrible figures. As you find, The GDP growth rate projections have been slashed, and we find the gold prices are going up, rupee, our local currency is down, and many kind of things. So all the indicators, they are not looking very positive. Please note, I have already sent this PPT just a minute before to Dr. Veermati ji. In case anyone wants the PPT in editable form, that is there. Please use the slides, no problems. One of the professors at IMF has also raised a concern. So Professor Geeta Gopinath, she mentioned that the economies across the world are going to suffer, and but I think once this happens, then later on the rebound could be much better. And you can see in the graph that India is going to be one of the top beneficiaries as far as the 2021 is concerned. So we will recover very soon. We will recover fast. That is for sure. The only thing is that China, which is which you see this slide, it's showing that it might grow by 9.2% in 2021. I think most of you over here might agree that this may not happen, because I think the wind is blowing against China. But let me tell you one more thing, that it's very difficult to stop China. So who will stop China? Countries cannot stop China. God will stop China. So the planetary movements indicate China in the next coming months is going to face a lot of problems. The planetary movements also suggest that we are going to have more problems on civil laws. However, there will be also a shift in the global power balance. So what it means that some months from now, just mark my words, some months from now, China and US and Saudi Arabia are not going to be as powerful as they are today. Some of the top corporate leaders have expressed their opinion about the lockdown and the COVID. So they are not as encouraging. And also you might be knowing that SEBI also some time back asked the companies to tell the impact of the COVID. And I think you could see that many automobile companies, they announced that we could not sell even a single car or two-wheeler. So it was very depressing. However, let me tell you that even if it was depressing, the future belongs to India. And you may find that somewhere from April 2021, things are going to get better. And some improvement would happen in the next couple of months as well. But, my dear friends, mark my words, October to March is going to be a very tough time for all of us. Just remember, take care of your health, help people who are in need. This is what I can say at this juncture. Now, an American professor had given a term VUCA, volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity, which is viewed as a big challenge. Uh, However, I personally believe that Kalyug is a bigger concept than VUCA. So these days you'll find we are in a VUCA world. Again, we try to take up anything that comes from the West and then treat it as the ultimate concept, even though if they somehow steal the concept from our Indian literature and then present them in a certain way. Yogasan becomes yoga. That is one example. So Kalyug is a bigger concept than VUCA. And Johansson in his paper has not cited Kalyug. So Johansson should be charged with IPR violation. Anyway, so Kalyug has so many things that we come across, and I have proposed a concept which is an extension of VUCA, and I call it VUCA NW, where N stands for nature apathy. That is, if you act against the nature, then you learn a lesson. And W is wisdomlessness. That is, if you don't act with wisdom. So there is a Sanskrit shlok, Yasya nasti swayam pragya shastram tasya karoti kim dochnabhyam vihinasya darpanam kim krisha. So if you are a person without wisdom, then no literature, no advice is of use to you, just the same way as a person who is blind, the mirror is no use for that person. So beyond VUCA, so VUCA focuses on system, NW focuses on individual. So VUCA NW model, this is what is my model. Now, there is no point in just talking about the problem. What is the solution? The solution is sustainability, which we also use the word dharma, faith for blessings, bhakti. So VUCA NW becomes VUCA NW SF. And SF is reflected to the ABCD model of Bhagavad Gita. And here is that model, which you can also find on my Twitter page. So see at your left hand side, the A, B, C, D, E are there. So these form the model, and through any of the marg which someone takes, somebody would like to take Gyan marg, somebody Karm, somebody Bhakti, whatever. Ultimately, we all have to, go to God. And the beauty in our culture is, that God says, I give you opportunity, be like me, be a part of me. Okay. So now see the Western culture. Western culture focuses, somebody has done the sin and all kind of that. So nobody has done a sin. So the Indian culture says, God says, you are a part of me and be like me. You can become like me. Enlightenment is the key, and there the Indian model talks about hope. Hope stands for higher order purpose of existence. Now this is Indian model. What is Western model? Western model is LOP, L-O-P, lower order purpose of existence. That is, we live for wealth, we live for making ourselves happier with all the materialistic things. So materialism is everything. So that is lope. So lope वाले जो है वो लोप हो जाएंगे. So the lope model, if somebody has studied philosophy, and there is a Charvak philosophy. So the lope model is based on Charvak philosophy. And Charvak philosophy in Ramayana has been already criticized. So Indian model is hope, in which one can become God. This is our model. Ratan Tata's quote, I always, remember that nothing can destroy the iron, but its own rust can. So nothing can destroy you, but your own mindset. So it's a fight between mind and mindset. So mind versus mindset. And therefore, my dear friends who are present in this webinar, our attitude is the key. So the financial problems, already we are seeing, we are ourselves witnessing. There are people who have lost their jobs, there are restaurants which are not open. So what to talk about the financial problems? There are companies who have not sold the product for a couple of months. So huge problems. But I think the future is bright. Because if future was not bright, the BSE Sensex instead of 27,000 would have been 16,000. But why it is 36,000, 35,000? Despite the fact that we are not seeing any green shoots. Because we see the future, it is bright, at least the next couple of months. And then that can be followed by some problems. And then again, as I said, April, May 2021 onward, I think it's going to be a very good time for the entire world. So attitude is the key. And very interesting, if you sum up the alphabets of attitude, because A comes at number 1 position, T comes at 20, U comes at 21, E is at 5. So if you add that, attitude, the addition score is 100. And if you add knowledge, it comes 96. If you add hard work, it comes 98. So very good slide that both are important, but fall just short of 100. So attitude is the key, because there the total is 100. And COVID is a problem. Now, whenever we have a problem, you have two solutions. Either you run away from it or you participate. So find out what could be the opportunities. Find out what you can do if you are not able to do what you were planning to do. And could that be something which can bring you some benefits in the long run? So one thing is you don't do anything. Other thing is that you try something. So those who try something, they are the ones with positive attitude. And remember, positive attitude is not just about always thinking that things will be better. It's also about knowing that what is the realistic position. And sometimes we stop working and see this person, he was just one stroke away from the diamonds. So keep working, if you give up, then, sometimes. A very important slide again on the attitude. See, we all want to become extraordinary. So for become extraordinary, you have to add extra to the ordinary, right? So just see this small thing that 0.99 to the power of 365 is 0.03. But if I add a little more, that is 1.01, that is extra. If I do it extra, then this is 37.8. So see the difference, how many times the difference is. So that is different. This is ordinary, 0.99, and this 1.01, which becomes 37.8, is extraordinary. Be original, friends. हमें किसी का नकल नहीं करना. Be original. Sehwag, Ganguly, all these were good players, but they always had their own style. So Ganguly's punchline, Sehwag's punchline, Dravid's punchline, Sachin punchline, they were all different. But they are all great players. They are all good in their own way, and you can't say that this is number one, this is number two. At some time, Ganguly, there was nobody else like Ganguly. Sometimes you would say that Dravid is the best, sometimes Sehwag best, sometimes Sachin best. So be original. And now it's the time to give back to the world, which we can go for using Indian management. I think I'm running out of time because of what time has been given to me by the organizer. So I will now move a little fast, talk about a few things only, because I have a lot of things to say. But anyway, Yes. So modify the Western specific concepts in the backdrop of our culture. This is very important. Don't follow whatever is there in the West. For example, at Banastali, when I have done some research, then I have tried to modify the Western models in the Indian context. And then I found that our model is much deeper in insight compared to the Western model. And very important, friends, though we have to move towards our culture, ethos and all, but beware of the self-proclaimed modern spiritual revolutionists. I don't name people, but at least one I can name, that is the Brahma Kumaris. So, I mean, I am not in favor of these self-proclaimed modern spiritual revolutionists who seem to say that we are the agents of God. God has not appointed any agents. You can go direct. Pray to God, pray to 5 days, 10 days, 20 days, a month. You'll find that somehow solution comes to you. Directly God will send some solution. You need not go to any agents. So focus on your work, knowledge and simplicity. And what we have done here is that we at Banastali have evolved Bharti model of financial literacy. So some of you who would like to do PhD, somebody who would like to guide someone on PhD, you can now try to find out attitude of people towards the Bharti model of financial literacy. Similarly, we have come up with the Bharti model of digital literacy. You can search on the net, you will get the concept. Then you can build up on that. If you need any help, you can reach out to us. We can work in collaborative research. Work-life natural fusion. You know about work-life balance. Now I have given the concept work-life natural fusion, taking insight from Bhagavad Gita. Now somebody can do PhD now related to work-life natural fusion. So one PhD we have already produced at Banastali. Similarly, rating the politicians, one PhD has been awarded. This is also a new concept. This all has roots in Indian ethos. Behavioral finance you might have heard about. I have given a concept which is beyond behavioral finance, which again takes up intuition in positive way. That is called as holistic decision making model. Again, PhD has been awarded. So all these concepts, we have some Scopus papers already and PhDs. So what I mean to say is, let's work on our own knowledge. Let's not follow the West. And let's talk about more culturally relevant ideas which can make us a superpower. So this is all I think from my end. And what I tried over here is that I could just talk about what I feel is going to come in the time to come. And I think the future is definitely bright. But let me tell you, next few months, the challenges are going to be huge. Keep patience, keep the right attitude. Things are going to be better in the time to come. So I think this is what I have as far as this session is concerned. And now I look forward to your questions. If you would like to ask me something, you're most welcome.
धन्यवाद सर, आपका बहुत ही अच्छा प्रेजेंटेशन था।
धन्यवाद।
इंडियन फिलॉसफी और इंडियन माइथोलॉजिकल कंसेप्ट्स से जोड़कर आपने
I would please allow me to interrupt you, ma'am. Please allow me. ये हम कई बार माइथोलॉजिकल वर्ड जो यूज करते हैं ना, ये भी मुझे बहुत बुरा लगता है। प्लीज डोंट टेक इट अप इन दैट वे। बट माइथोलॉजी से क्या होता है कि मिथ वर्ड आता है कि ये तो माइथोलॉजिकल है। नहीं, माइथोलॉजिकल नहीं है।
But I didn't use it in that.
देखिए, कोई कहते हैं कि इन इंडियन माइथोलॉजी रामायण इज देयर, तो वो उसका मतलब हुआ कि आपने 1 करोड़ में 0 का मल्टीप्लाई कर दिया। तो 1 करोड़ में 0 का मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे तो क्या होगा? 0 हो जाएगा। भगवान को चाहिए भाव। तो जहां हमने माइथोलॉजी वर्ड यूज करते हैं और हम तो मथुरा जैसी देवनगरी में हैं, तो जहां हमने माइथोलॉजी वर्ड यूज किया तो इसका मतलब ये है कि हमारी भावना जो है वो उस पे प्रश्न चिन्ह हो गया थोड़ा। तो मेरा थोड़ा रिक्वेस्ट है, मतलब केवल आपसे नहीं, मतलब आपका भाव उसमें वो नहीं रहा होगा, लेकिन ये माइथोलॉजी वर्ड से क्या होता है कि ये जो थोड़ा सा वेस्ट से अगेन जो है ना, टेक्स्ट में यही दिया हुआ है कि इंडियन माइथोलॉजी में ये है माइथोलॉजी। सो माइथोलॉजी मतलब ये है कि भाई ये शायद हुआ होगा, तो हमें हमारा इसमें लिटरेचर पे पूरा भरोसा करना चाहिए।
ठीक है सर, टेक बैक माय वर्ड।
जी जी
और
जी।
जो हमारी हिंदू फिलॉसफी है उससे आपने ये को जोड़कर कोविड के फाइनेंशियल इम्प्लीकेशंस और क्या हमारे फ्यूचर प्रोस्पेक्ट्स हैं इनके बारे में आपने हमारी ऑडियंस को बताया। तो बहुत ही अच्छा, बहुत ही इंफॉर्मेटिव और बहुत ही मतलब वेल रिसर्च आपका ये प्रेजेंटेशन था। एंड मुझे लगता है कि हम लोग सभी को, हमारी ऑडियंस को इससे बहुत ही लाभ हुआ होगा, बहुत सारी जानकारी हमारी बढ़ी। तो अब अगर ऑडियंस में किसी के क्वेश्चंस हैं तो प्लीज आप लोग चैट बॉक्स में डाल दीजिए। सर इज देयर टू आंसर योर क्वेश्चंस। अभी तक तो मेरे पास कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं आया है।
कोई बात नहीं, मेरा ईमेल आईडी आपके पास है ही, डॉक्टर वीरमती जी के पास भी है, तो कोई प्रश्न यदि बाद में आते हैं तो मैं कोशिश करूंगा समय मिलेगा उसको रिप्लाई करने तो जी मेरा जो पीपीटी है वो भी आप
ये शेयर कीजिए आप हमसे।
जिसको भी चाहिए हो उनको दे सकते हैं, मैंने उसको एडिटेबल फॉर्म में रखा है। कोई यदि इस पीपीटी को यूज करके अपने क्लास में दिखाना चाहे या उस बेसिस पे कुछ अपना प्रेजेंटेशन में उसको यूज करना चाहे तो मुझे उसमें कोई आपत्ति नहीं है, क्योंकि मैं इसको कोई आईपीआर वगैरह नहीं मानता। जो भी है सब माता सरस्वती की कृपा है, तो कौन सा आईपीआर, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, आप आराम से यूज करें।
सर यही कुछ लोगों ने कहा भी है कि आप ये इसका अगर प्रेजेंटेशन ये इसकी स्लाइड्स शेयर कर लें तो आप जब हमारे पास भेज देंगे तो
डॉक्टर वीरमती जी को मेल कर दिया है, वो भेज दें हमें।
जो भी पार्टिसिपेंट्स होंगे हम उनसे शेयर कर सकते हैं।
हाँ हाँ बिल्कुल करिए, बिल्कुल।
और यही आ रहे हैं एंड द पीपल आर सेइंग थैंक्स दैट वर मींस एक्सीलेंट व्यूज एंड नाइस प्रेजेंटेशन। तो इस तरह के कमेंट्स हैं, बट आई एम नॉट सीइंग एनी क्वेश्चन क्योंकि आपका इतना अच्छा प्रेजेंटेशन था, मुझे लगता है कि क्वेश्चंस लोगों के पास रहे ही नहीं।
प्रयास ये था कि जो जिस तरह के प्रश्न हो सकते हैं तो उन्हीं का समावेश प्रेजेंटेशन में कर लिया जाए, लेकिन फिर भी हो सकता है जो भी।
तो थैंक यू सर। एंड इस वेबिनार में आप
एक क्वेश्चन मैं देख रहा हूँ, ये डॉक्टर मालती पी शर्मा आपको पूछ रही है दैट हाउ टू कम आउट ऑफ कंफ्यूजन सराउंडिंग द होल एटमॉस्फेयर टुडे। I think keeping the right attitude provides the solution, and I think we should set our goals, what we want to do, and continuously move towards that. And when we talk about the goals, it's not just about, I want to buy a car after 10 years or after 1 month, or I should have this house. So they should not be the only goals. I'm not saying that materialism has no merit. It has its own merit, but let's not forget spirituality. So we should balance mind, body, soul, their requirements. And I think we are into the time where we are into a consciousness revolution. So since we are in a consciousness revolution, so therefore we should try to think about what are the bigger goals. See, we have the benefit that we are born as a human being, number one. Number two, we have a benefit that we are born in India. So these are two very, very positive things for us. So question is, are we taking benefit? Are we taking benefit? See, you can see an animal. The animal also eats, drinks water, and whatever it does. What is the difference between the animal and us? God has given us brain, which is far superior than an animal. So the question is how much we are using the brain for our benefit. And the benefit is not, the benefit that we are going to get in the next 5 minutes or 5 years or 10 years. What about the benefit that we are going to get after our death? In our Indian culture, the plus point is that there is focus on two things. First is karma phal siddhant. Karma phal siddhant. What we do, then we will get the results. Karma phal siddhant. Either in this birth or in the next birth. So not necessarily you will see the benefits or the problems in this birth, maybe in next birth. Because God has made this world. Do you think that the justice system of God is so weak? No, it's not so. So karma phal siddhant and belief in rebirth. So I think if we keep these in mind and do our lifestyle and everything as per our Indian culture, then we will find the solution. We can have the right perspective and all. And God has made the things very simple. Let's not worry. Let's not complicate the things. I trust I could answer, but there's so much one can speak.
Thank you, sir. And now I invite Dr. Veermati Singh to present the vote of thanks. Dr. Veermati Singh.
थैंक यू मैम, थैंक यू मैम, थैंक यू मैम। सभी को मेरा नमस्कार। मैं डॉक्टर वीरमती, अर्थशास्त्र विभाग से। यह मेरे सौभाग्य की बात है कि मुझे धन्यवाद ज्ञापन के लिए अवसर प्रदान किया गया है और मैं बहुत अधिक थैंकफुल हूँ हर्ष सर का और हर्ष सर की, क्योंकि मैं स्टूडेंट भी रही हूँ, उन्होंने मुझे अपनी के लिए बहुत ज़्यादा किया है, तो मैं सर की बहुत अधिक फैन भी रही हूँ। और साथ में मैं अंशिका कौशिक मैम का, जिन्होंने अपना इम्पैक्ट ऑन बिजनेस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी यूज पर अपना लेक्चर दिया। और साथ में मैं प्रिंसिपल मैम की, जब भी हम मैम से कहते हैं कि वेबिनार आयोजन करना है तो मैम बहुत ही सरल शब्दों बहुत ही जल्दी मान लेती हैं और उस पर विचार भी करती हैं और अपने अपने नए आइडियाज भी देती हैं। मैं और साथ में मैं अपने पूरे स्टाफ का भी बहुत अधिक आभार व्यक्त करती हूँ कि वो भी हमें भरपूर सहयोग प्रदान करते हैं। साथ में हमारे टेक्नीशियन और जितने भी हमारे मीडिया कर्मी हैं उन सबको भी मैं आभार व्यक्त करती हूँ और बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। धन्यवाद सर, धन्यवाद मैम।
धन्यवाद।
थैंक यू डॉक्टर वीरमती। और मैं आप सभी से रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी कि कृपया नेशनल एंथम के लिए खड़े हो जाएं, राष्ट्रगान के लिए। डॉक्टर नम्रता मिश्रा, राष्ट्रगान शुरू करें।
थैंक यू मैम। जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता, पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्रविड़ उत्कल गंगा, विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा, तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे, गाए विजय गाथा। जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता, जय हे जय हे जय 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 जय।
धन्यवाद आप सभी को बहुत बहुत। और सभी पार्टिसिपेंट्स के लिए ये इंफॉर्मेशन है कि हम लोग कल आपके मेल पर फीडबैक फॉर्म डाल देंगे, तो उनको आप भर के जल्द से जल्द वापस कर देंगे। थैंक यू।
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you all. Thank you, Anshika ji.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, bye.
Kindly leave the meeting.